And joining us now, the president of Everytown for Gun Safety, John Feinblatt. Thank you for coming on the show this morning. We've been talking all morning long about where most of the country is on simple gun safety measures. What is it going to take? And I'm sure you've been asked that question before.
Look, I think there's no question about it that tragedies like this actually mobilize people to insist with their lawmakers that we pass common sense gun safety laws. There's no question about it where the public stands. The public does not want to send their kids to school in the morning and wonder whether they're going to be meeting them at the morgue or at soccer practice at the end of the day. But there's no question about it. Politicians need to actually follow the will of the people. We saw that happen in Congress this past summer with a bipartisan bill. But sadly, if you look at what's going on in Tennessee, we're going in the exact wrong direction. 2 years ago, the governor signed a bill allowing people to carry loaded guns in public without a permit.
And you say these events are mobilizing, yet in the middle of an epidemic of shootings across our country, an epidemic of school shootings, of mass shootings at schools, a generation of children growing up knowing that they might be slaughtered while they are at school. We have politicians who say what we're about to show you, that it's not worth trying anything. Here is Republican Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee reacting to this deadly shooting at this elementary school in his state.
Saying there's just absolutely nothing that he can do. He's helpless. He's impotent. He's weak when it comes to saving children's lives. Take a look.
Do you think there's any role for Congress to play in reaction to this tragedy? Obviously, this is your state now, but it's happened in every other state.
Oh, it's happening. It doesn't matter what state it's happening in. We're all Americans. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. They all bleed red. They're bleeding a lot. I don't see any real role that we could do other than mess things up, honestly, because of the situation. It's like I said, I don't think a criminal's going to stop from guns. You know, you can print them out on the computer now, 3D printing, and there's really, I don't think you're going to stop the gun violence. I think you've got to change people's hearts. You know, as a Christian, as we talk about in the church, and I've said this many times, I think we really need revival in this country.
I'll be quiet. I can't even.
There's nothing. And he talks about his father fighting in World War II. Jesus said if he's going to talk about being a Christian, that if anybody allows harm to be done to any little child, it's better they have a millstone hung around their neck and thrown to the bottom of the ocean. We have a responsibility to protect our children. If you're going to talk about Christianity, Jesus talks about it time and time again. Let the little children come. And yet there's so many people in Congress who are saying, well, yeah, they keep getting slaughtered in school. There's just nothing we can do about it. What if they said that after 9/11? And how ridiculous is that argument?
Well, it's actually patently untrue because laws matter. You should know that, Joe. And if you look at Tennessee, it's got the 12th lowest or the 12th highest gun murder rate of any state in the country. And it's got some of the weakest laws. And if you look at states with strong laws, they're also the states with the best record on gun safety. And so laws matter. And again, look, progress is incremental, but we saw Congress come together. 15 Republicans, including Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and John Cornyn, passed a bipartisan bill, first gun safety bill in 26 years, breaking a logjam over the strenuous objections of the NRA. But we've got to do more. We can't live in a country where 3 9-year-olds go to school in the morning and are shot and killed along with 3 other staff persons. We've got to decide what kind of country we want to live in. We've got to decide whether we're going to continue to be a country with 25 times the gun murder rate of any developed country in the world. But laws do matter. There's no question about it. If Tennessee had stronger laws, they would have a much safer gun safety record.
So, John, we've discussing this morning how the NRA's influence has faded some, but yet guns have become such an important cultural identity issue for so many on the right. Laws do matter, as you say. We've seen some progress in states like Michigan. Obviously, Tennessee's gone the other way. Is there any sort of workaround, perhaps, on the federal level that can be done, even in an era now of such polarization, where maybe some more incremental progress can be made?
Yeah, there's no question about it. Just last week, the president called for executive actions that could make a meaningful difference. Probably the most important one was to actually define clearly, once and for all, who has to conduct a background check when they sell a gun and who doesn't. That has been murky, and it has allowed the proliferation of illegal guns to be sold without a background check online and at gun shows. We need to stop that to make sure that people don't have easy access to guns. The president has called for a ban on assault weapons. There's no question about it. When you see the footage yesterday from Tennessee, it's really hard not to believe that weapons of war don't belong in civilians' hands. We've got to make sure that we have universal red flag laws. So when people see the signs of somebody who is a danger to themselves or others, we have the ability to temporarily remove the guns from them based on a court order. That's happened in 19 states in the District of Columbia, and it's making a difference. But there's more that we have to be, there's no question, there's more that we have to do. We have to take politics out of this. I mean, when you hear people give political speeches on the same day that 3 9-year-olds were killed, you wonder just how far politicians will go to throw sort of guns as red meat to their base.
President of Everytown for Gun Safety, John Feinblatt, thank you very, very much for being on this morning.